Spins. We are going to do some news and hang out. Check it out. Joined tonight. This is Gregory Patrick with Cryptic Cynic. No change. Pasted zeros in the audience, and yeah, we're over on Discord mostly doing the live chat here, and we do have to talk about YouTube and a few other places we broadcast to because there's some good stuff going on there. But yeah, I suppose we got to get into the major headlines. And since the last time we did a show, we ended ours right before the State of the Union. And there's plenty of analysis out there. I think the only thing I need to say about it before I pass it off is I didn't get really what I wanted out of it. I was hoping for a plan, and I don't want to agree with like Democrat talking points ever. But that's the one thing they said as a rebuttal. Like, there wasn't a real solid plan. There was a lot of cheerleading. It felt too much like a campaign rally, which I've seen plenty of those, and I didn't need another campaign rally. I did want a direct State of the Union. Like, where the fuck's Ruth Gator? Ruth Ginsburg's gone. She wasn't there. No explanation. No one mentions it. Nothing. We got a bit of, what do you call it, fluff about the border, of course, and, I think he could have had twice as much time as for a speech, and he could have done all the cheerleading about all the accomplishments, which is good for a State of the Union, but he could have told us what's going to happen in 2 weeks when the government shuts down again, like, what's the fucking plan, instead of posturing, but, I don't know, okay, I would just say, I don't know if you got any highlights, Cryptic Cynic. Did you check it out, or did you see any of the analysis of the wonderful second inaugural State of the Union address from Trump?
No, I really hadn't heard much about it until now, but I find that pretty interesting that Ruth Bader Ginsburg wasn't there. I think you're onto something with that subject because it's just a mystery of where she is now and what's going to happen with her going forward. I think maybe both sides don't want to deal with another circus just yet, so maybe it's not in the headlines right now, but maybe it will be soon.
This is ridiculous. I mean, we need a picture of her like holding up a thumbs up or something at this point. Something of her like conscious because it's been months. I don't need a full interview with a woman who's recovering, but when they wake her, if she can feed herself, that's sort of like the point here. Like if she's in a coma and she's not coming back, well, but I don't know, Mark. Did you probably did you check it out after the show, or were you up for that, or were you able to avoid it?
I actually watched the whole thing.
Yeah,
I was walking around. I was doing stuff around the apartment, so I had it on in the background. So I don't know. Those things always entertain me as somebody who like. I don't know. It looks like it's a religion that I'm not a part of. It's like watching like a mass for me.
Oh, it's like a tent revival. Yeah.
You know what it is. So it's like. I just watch it for the entertainment and just like watching human beings not stand and clap for things like peace, love, and baby, like not killing babies is just like, it shouldn't be funny, but it's just like imagining that person's life, like there was actually somebody caught it in a GIF somewhere online where I guess some Democrat woman stood up and clapped for Trump when she wasn't supposed to. And like the lady next to her literally mouths, watch your ass. And it's just, the tension in the room, the fakeness is very interesting. I just posted Owen Benjamin. He talked about the Buzz Aldrin part, which to me was like, I thought the same thing he saw it. Like this guy looks terrified to be up there. Like they're going to shoot him. That was interesting. In terms of Trump's speech, again, I was watching it from the reaction to what he was saying because I knew it was all going to be rehearsed. It looked like Nancy behind him had papers. I think she had the speech and she was just knew when to clap and when not to clap because she'll fall asleep if otherwise.
Yeah, had like bridge, what do you call footnotes for her?
Yeah. I stand now, I clap now, that kind of stuff. But in terms of his speech, I mean, when he brought up, he said, endless wars are bad and all that crap, and everybody stood and clapped. I kind of just watch it as like those are all voting blocks within the Congress. So if they're all clapping. They're all trying to get elected. At least they're clapping for that. But then all the generals weren't clapping, and then he's gonna he wants to, but the thing is, he wants to get into a nice Cold War with Russia
Oh,
over
that's
the
more
missiles.
fun. There's more money in that, and there's less bad press.
Yeah, so
Might be a wise decision.
Yeah, I mean, I did that. I like I said, I was entertained by him listing accomplishments that were just like any human should agree with, and the Democrats not clapping. He was like, "I released people from prison," and they're just like, "No."
Yeah,
And
lowest unemployment for like everybody who's been asking. Like it is bad. Yeah, that they couldn't clap for like it was like the record low unemployment for Black and Hispanics should be a good thing if you're a Democrat. I mean, that's their party platform. Maybe it's because they weren't able to accomplish that. I don't know. I mean, that gets into a whole can of worms.
That's what.
Oh, well, it's just not true then, I guess. Yeah. Well, maybe it isn't. Fuck if I know. I mean, I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. You don't know. Because the funny thing is, when you watch the old ones, when Obama was saying the same type of things that sound like they're great, the Republicans aren't standing. So you're like, I don't know. But again, I just watch it for imagine you got elected to Congress and you had to be there, and you're just like, I just clap when human things happen. They're like, no, you can't. It's just very entertaining for me.
Well, they don't want him to be the next Reagan, where everybody claps when he says something positive, like show unity or something like that. It is absurd, you know.
I will say, the only but as much as people, they try to make fun of Trump in terms of his intellect, and he just kind of, we know he just kind of sucks these people in. The best thing that he did, and I don't know if anybody caught it. I mean, I haven't seen anybody like really write about it or anything. When he mentioned how there's the most, this is where he went off cuff, and he was talking about the how many the women in the workplace, and then he brought up this is the most women in Congress in history. Literally, they all got elected running as women against Donald Trump because he's an evil women hater, and he just took that and went, see, I'm so great that there's more women here than ever before. And they all start clapping. And he's like, just like, to me, I'm like, you just played them so well, and they just fell right into it.
Is there a reason why they were all wearing those white blazers of different? I missed that part. Is that some sort of solidarity thing, or is that a tradition? Like, I don't know what the hell was that. Was that? It seemed like what the female freshmen,
all the new female members that got in. There's I'm not saying it's a good thing that they're all women, but there's a lot of new people there, which I like to know. It makes me feel good that there's a politician somewhere that doesn't have a job.
Yeah.
So that was good to see.
More than
but I just thought it was funny how Trump played them. Like, hey, like he just like, hey, little ladies, like, you got in here, great. That's all. I did such a. I'm like, they literally ran off. You're a terrible person who hates us, and he just played them. That was interesting. But they're so all, narcissists that they had just clapped for themselves instead of going, wait, I know what he's doing.
Yeah. Well, there was just, I think one of the most surreal moments was when the entire Congress sang happy birthday to an elderly man in the audience. He was a survivor of some concentration camp, and I guess it was a lovely moment, but I thought it was just strange. A whole room of adults singing happy birthday to a stranger in Congress. It was weird. It's fucking weird. I mean, good.
It is a little...
I'm not going to criticize it, but it was strange. I've never seen anything like it. But the only real disappointment I had is we didn't have a Joe Manchin moment. I was really hoping a Democrat would yell out, "You lie," or something stupid and embarrassing. So there would be more of a balance to the force. But no, I mean, there is a bit of... See, that's what I'm saying, though. There was way more, like, chuckling and bullshit because it felt like a Trump campaign rally where he's cracking jokes and bullshitting,
Yeah.
But I don't know. Speaking of, I wouldn't mind. I'll tell you is that we should mention real quick because we have to. I guess everybody else is going to talk about it. I don't want to get into too much social issues, but we'll bang it right out while we're at it. 'Cause, again, this is the problem. Trump was playing identity politics from the podium himself. He's getting into it, and he's going to probably outplay them with this if it keeps up like this. And then the right wing is going to be notorious for playing identity politics in 3 years. So I'm not looking forward to this. So in the spirit of identity politics and horrible bullshit, there's all that stuff going on in Virginia. And Fucking A. I mean, these people really screwed the pooch. I've been looking to move, and I wanted to go to a place, with, deep, someplace south, not particularly because I want to live in the, well, maybe I do want to live in the Bible Belt a little bit, because I feel like there's a sense of a normalcy there, where instead of the state being your god, there's the actual one, so you feel less threatened all the time. It's a real experience, actually, if you can get out of a place like the Northeast, where every other sign is like, if you speed, we'll shoot you. And you know what I mean? We'll wreck your life if you do anything out of line. It's like, oh, down there, it's like, Jesus is watching, better be nice. It's like, oh, shit. Is he? I don't know. He's probably the only one watching because there's only squirrels around, so maybe you're right.
Yeah, I got you. I always heard this. Yeah, but real quick on that, somebody made a comment once to me where it was like, the reason all those people in the Bible Belt don't just like go to the coast and start killing everybody that they don't like is because they're afraid of God. So you have to think about that when you make fun of them. So it was a good point. Like the government isn't their God. They actually have another thing that keeps them.
It keeps them in line.
Some type of moral track.
I don't need a person to hold a gun to my head to do the right thing. I got the old Aristotle kind of paraphrase where I do the right thing because it's the right thing to do, not because of fear of God or government or anything. It's just I just think it's the right thing to do. But I don't know, man. I've even I think this. See, this is where this is one of those things. This is like I don't think this is a real political issue. I feel like it shouldn't be anyway. I wish we were all on some sort of cultural page on this, but this thing. I don't know, Cryptic. What do you think about what's going on in Virginia? The governor is got himself attention for supporting a ridiculously in my opinion, was overstepping abortion bill. Then somebody dug out his past and found all of his pictures of him in Klan outfits and all this other stuff that Southern Democrats are actually notorious for, but they just needed, I guess they got a quick reminder, but then they went to the lieutenant governor, and he, apparently raped somebody in a 2004 Democratic National Convention. The woman is now hiring Blasey Ford's attorneys to sue these people, by the way. She went to Washington Post, and they didn't take her story because the Washington Post would not verify the accusations of somebody who couldn't completely identify all the details in such a serious thing, So she hired the people who did the Kavanaugh bullshit. She did. And she's suing him and everyone else in the DNC. And so then they went to the Attorney General to try to sort this out because they don't have a governor or a lieutenant governor. So then the highest lawman, again, they looked in his yearbook and found him in Klan outfits. So I don't know, man. Have you been following this, Cryptic? What the hell do you think about all this shit? Because I'm pompous piloting this shit and washing my hands on that. What do you think, man?
Yeah, I've heard a little bit about it. I heard about like the blackface picture or whatever it is, but yeah, I think it's just weird to me how it seems like this is becoming the norm. I guess just if you have a political disagreement, you go and dig into somebody's internet history or past or whatever. I think if that's the norm, then it's gonna be pretty ugly. I think like you guys were saying earlier, I think it's not surprising that people have stuff in their past, regardless of whoever they are, Republican, Democrat, Southern, not Southern, Northern, whatever. I mean, everybody has something, especially politicians. I mean, I personally believe politicians are just mostly bad people who are drawn to that job because they're bad people. And so, I mean, they're going to have shitty stuff in their past. So, I mean, if it's going to come down to that, maybe they should get rid of the facade and just go directly to like throwing mud at each other based on shit that people do in their past. I don't know.
At this point, I think in the internet age, you best get that stuff out there, man. Because I mean, even when I actually am technically an elected politician in my own right, because I did a voting station here, so I had to be on the ballot and I had to win, and I got paid by City Hall. So I mean, if you look at all, I don't want to admit this, but if you check off the boxes of what it actually means to, yeah, I guess I didn't do it for long either because God help me, never ever do stuff like that. I can tell you. But even when I did it, there was no chance of anybody digging any weird shit out about me. And I can tell you right now, the only thing you're gonna see as far as pictures of me is like in a black trench coat with the bandana on, and I'm betting you guys probably already knew that. I haven't changed much, so there isn't really much I can say or do. You know, I think my earliest Steam It post too. That's pretty much my social media history. Fuck it, you know. Unless you want to know how many times I played like, you know, Magic the Gathering on my phone through Google Play or whatever the fuck it was, you know. So I think that's the way it has to be, though.
Let your inner light loose with one-a-day gummies. One serving, once a day, with nutrients that support sick.
Yeah, that was a fucking.
I'm gonna have to dissect. I'll watch the video after this, just for my pure entertainment.
Oh yeah, no, I left a page open on Drudge, and the fuckers. I don't know why. Never mind. But yeah, I was looking at that earlier because there's a really weird gun bill in Chicago. But I mean, yeah, I don't know, man. Do you want to put any 2 cents in on this Virginia thing, or do you just want to like kill it with fire like me?
Yeah, no, it's just another, like you said, it's this is like the whole cultural SJW, that whole realm of politics, which I, like, as somebody who, like I said, politics to me was like, we used to debate like trade policy and like reality.
Yeah.
And this is just all like, I mean, the rights of, I mean, like the Ben Shapiro people of the world, like they profit off this kind of stuff. There's a right and a left on this. So yeah, a bunch of guys from Virginia, when they were in high school and college, and medical school, I guess. Yeah, well, if you ever been to Virginia, like, yeah, that's kind of what's going on. Like, if you don't know, like, if you ever been to, I forget the name of the valley in Virginia. Now I'm gonna forget it. It's where James Madison University is. The entire valley, which is like hundreds of miles, was systematically burnt to the ground by the Union Army. Like, that's where you're going. Boy. You know, like, that's where you're going. Like, so people are like that there, and it's just like, you know, this is a story that they knew they can. It's like something they knew that exists. What just interesting to me about it is this governor race last year. This guy that just won, the guy that's in the scandal, that was a really tight race, and I don't know how this didn't come out during that election, you know?
Because you know what he did? He made fucking A. What he did is he made an ad that was so disturbing and fucked up that nobody talked about anything other than the ad. He made an ad that like depicted the other candidate in a pickup truck with American flags chasing down immigrant children and minority children to run them down, and like talked about the days of lynching and all these other ridiculous, hyperbolic, horrible things. Like, it made it out so, like, vote for me or the other guy is going to murder your children. And nobody talked about anything other than that. And then the guy comes out as a person who supports infanticide, who literally is out to murder your children, and he is a racist. So it's the biggest case of projection in the history of my lifetime when it comes to politics. Well, maybe the Clintons probably win all things and all, but... Anyway, the second biggest case of projection I've seen it was ridiculous, you know? Yeah. See, here's the thing about me, too. I went to down south. I went to Kentucky, though, and I guess Kentucky, I'm sure it participated quite well in the Civil War, but it's all mountains, and I don't think anybody felt like fighting there, so I bet you most of the fighting went anywhere other than Kentucky's mountainous regions. They might have fought in the plains in the westerns. I don't know, but I don't know. I didn't see any Confederate flags. I didn't notice. Maybe it's because Kentucky, I wasn't looking for it, but
I think Kentucky's more like, we don't have any flags here. Like, you know what I mean?
They have fucking libertarian flags. They have the Gadsden flag everywhere. I'm not joking.
They're like, leave us the fuck alone people, for sure.
Yeah, my kind of people. And I mean that. Then again, so like, but see, even with this, the last thing that was supposed to tear us asunder as a culture was the Covington High thing, and I'm sitting there like, Well, maybe I'm like, I thought twice about moving to Kentucky. I'm like, what? Because I don't want to be a bunch of Catholics who don't believe in abortion and stand their ground when weirdos harass them. I'm like, actually, I don't know. Maybe they're not so bad. I don't know. I mean, they're kind of kids, so it's hard to say. But they did. I'm like, all right. It didn't really burn me. Like, oh, now I can't move there. But I mean, I'm not moving to Virginia. I'm not doing that. Yeah. I'm not. It's out of the question. I'm not doing that. You know. Sorry, guys. Nothing against the people. It's the government there. I would love the people, I'm sure, but if they're being run by these fucking maniacs, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's kind of odd that it seems like Virginia is all of a sudden becoming like a blue state, basically, when I compared to when I lived there, which was over 10 years ago now, but I lived there for a short time, and at the time, to me, it seemed really like right wing, but I was coming from Southern California, so I guess that would influence my view of things at the time. But yeah, it's definitely seeming like it's becoming, ever since like it went blue for Obama and all that. It's seeming like it's moving more and more. It's wanting to follow in the path of like the East Coast or North New England area and the West Coast.
Yeah. No. Well, with Virginia, don't forget you have the richest county in the country, other than maybe Southern California, like you mentioned. The county right around DC. So that's all blue. That's all 90. That's the demographics changed. Like my part of my family lives in North Carolina now, and they're from New Jersey. That happens a lot. So that Virginia, Maryland, North Carolina area is turning bluer and bluer. Maryland's always kind of been blue because of Baltimore, but there's a lot of Northerners moving south, and now you're getting a mix of Dixie, because I think a lot of Northerners, like I know a lot of people live in Baltimore now from up here, and they had no idea that like Baltimore was in the South and that was like a Navy place. Like, they had no concept of that at all. And I mean, that's just the Northern elitism, in my opinion. That's that Northeast thing. Like, we won the war. I mean, that's ingrained.
Well, we don't also leave the Northeast unless we have to. So it's exactly. Like our world's the only world. But again, I saw that when I went to California too. Like, everybody there thought California was the center of the universe too. And I bet you everybody from New York proper thinks that New York's the center of the universe. Just like everybody from Dubai would say the same thing. And you know what I mean? On and on. Geneva. The people in Geneva probably think they're the center of the world. I hope that's a human condition. Otherwise, the people in the Northeast really are dicks. I don't know. One way or that's my theory anyway. It makes me feel better. But yeah, I don't know. It looks like Truth Force came through, got the tip bot working. I'm just trying to figure it out here too. I don't know.
I'm trying to send you one back. So I'm trying to send you one back. How do I do that?
Well, I think
if your post,
if your Discord name matches with the one in the chat, it works pretty easy. It's still, I mean, I've sent a few and got it working. All throughout today. But
now, if my Steam name is actually technically different, do you have to put that in there, or is it?
Yeah, I think I do. I think I tried to send you one, but when I had to authorize it, it kicked it back.
Yeah. So
how do you spell? Okay, there it is. Yeah.
That's kind of annoying. I mean, I thought it changed like everything when I changed it up, because like you go on my Steam and you go to my profile, it doesn't say that. It doesn't say that my last name. It says it says no change. I thought it changed it, but I guess it makes sense. It's a wallet and all that junk. So
well, it is a secure wallet thing. When you try to use it, you're gonna get a message in the top left of your Discord.
Yeah.
And you do have to authorize it and do all that stuff. But it is like a quick, cool way to do it. I mean, I imagine a lot of people are going to be doing this from now on, and a lot of these things. I'd like to think we could get to be the ones that are ahead of it and know what we're doing. And so if everybody else is trying to get the shit working and getting, if it's still clunky, we could help them. And then, you know how all that comes back around in the end, But I just sent one successfully to you by using the method. I'll just say it real quick just so everybody knows. It won't be the show, me asking for tips. And this, like I said, isn't just for us. Like if you know, I guess we should do some housekeeping while we're at it too, because like I got to admit, like we started out doing a lot of stuff on Google products just to get, you know, because we were learning how to broadcast about a year ago. But in the past few months, it's gone leaps and bounds. We figured out 1,000 different ways to do things. I use OBS. I'm streaming to like several different places. And I don't want anyone on YouTube to feel ignored, or Twitch. You know, the people, we actually are getting a better audience there. I think the key to it, if we're going to do what we're doing now, is people have to log in to the actual, like me and whoever else wants, you know, to be a part of the team on that, you know, media creators side, and talk to people through our Information War account. Like, leave comments on Joe Rogan videos. The last time we left one comment on a Joe Rogan video, we got like 6 new subscribers. You know, I got a lot of people asking for like, okay, there are libertarians out there. Why aren't you on YouTube? It's like, well, because we all ran away from that shit. Now we're on Steam. It would do crypto, you know. I don't know, too, Cryptic Cynic. Now I could send you like live payments during the show if you want to, if you want to get your crypto wallet cranking. And anything, you let me know, because this thing goes for everybody. And I think, like, even Patient Zero, too, if you're putting in fucking dank memes and stuff like that and making everybody laugh and having a good time, you know, it's a huge part of the show. That's what I'm trying to get at, you know. So what I'm going to have to do probably this week is you know, log into YouTube and try to get more people to subscribe, because we've never really been optimistic about, you know, the mainstream success. It's why we're in alternative media in the first place. It's why we're doing crypto in the first place. It's just, we want to say what we want to say. We don't ever want to worry about being censored. Can't censor us on the blockchain. They can kick us off YouTube. We wouldn't even flinch. But I would love to be able to bring more people here, is the whole thing, you know. So if you are listening on YouTube, I'll try to open it up again and talk to you. Maybe we can work it out between the hosts to see who can monitor which chat to see about this. But you know, I really would love to bring more people in onto the world. You know, that makes me. This is what we're doing. So, you know, if you are on Steam and you're on the Discord, you have all of this linked together. It is totally a different experience than trying to yell through thousands of comments on a YouTube video that has, you know, 8 million views and it's being ratioed, and all that stuff is not the world we're in right now, and it's not what you have to bother with if you want to have your opinion out there. You don't want to be buried by 10,000 other people. This is the place to be. But yeah, I don't know. One of us has to go into the trenches. I don't know. At Chiapa, if you want to, I don't know, man. If you want to do it, you know, like I was Cryptic Cynic. Anytime you want to get the dual account, like I was saying, like, me and Chiapa or no change. No, you changed. See, now I'm.
Yeah, it makes sense. If people are gonna try, I mean, I appreciate people trying. If you know, I would appreciate any tips. So I don't want to give anybody a hassle of trying to remember 2 friggin' names.
It's better when you can click and stuff. Yeah, if it's mine is sort of simpatico. I don't know. That's all by luck, because I did that I streamlined it before I had any plans. I just, so I could remember what my own name was.
Yes.
That helped me out. But
yeah, I mean, I'm on YouTube when I do the videos, which I haven't been doing, because to be honest, like we've been kind of talking about, like, it's been the politics has been so engulfed by the social shit where it's like exhausting to talk about. But now that we have, sadly, like wars to talk about, which kind of sucks, but for me it's good for my energy. I actually might do some videos. But I mean, if I can remember, and I can put some time in terms of, you know, going on relevant videos, because all I do is I watch YouTube videos. I don't really watch Netflix or anything else. I watch most of my stuff on there. I can jump on. I can do it on the Information War account, you know, and drop some comments on there, and especially with the foreign policy stuff that I'm into, you know, I can draw some eyes for sure.
Well, I mean, it's a different world.
So.
You know, here on Steam especially, I don't even know what my view counts are. I only know about my upvotes. So like on a YouTube video, If I got like a dozen, I'd be happy. If I got any like growth, 1 or 2 people at a time, if you share it with somebody and they subscribe, that's very impressive. Like, you know, I don't even know, like, a lot of these views, and I think a lot of the stuff they advertise is, hey, look how popular. Like, Facebook, half their users are bots and fake accounts. We all know that. You know, their user numbers are way inflated. But you know, just to have 300 upvotes on a site that doesn't have that many users is I'm pretty happy with it. So to me, you could probably extrapolate. There's a lot of views going on there, but it's not even. It's about actual interaction, which is what the deal is, and that's the beauty of it. You don't even know if people are looking at it. You can tell if you look at the analytics. You can go and do all that shit, but you know. Pretty interesting. I was gonna say Cryptic Cynic too. Yeah, we gotta get you those. We gotta get you the broadcast keys for the YouTube. I'd love to see you on there, man. Like, where do you spend most of your time in this, man? How do we get you on Steam? Because it's tough. I don't know how to get people to get that electric wallet cranking. I mean, is there anything I can say or do for you?
No, it's good. You know, not really, yeah, you know, really looking to get paid or anything. So it's not a big deal.
Oh, that's very cool, man. You know, where do you say you spend most of your time in the social media sphere then, bud? I mean, like, it's a good example, actually. Because, I mean, well, awesome that you like hanging out with us, because I love having you, bud. But there's value in getting all this shit done and getting away from them, I hope. But, you know, you don't have to be completely connected with Steemit, Discord, and Steam Connect, all the weird shit that I bring up. You don't have to be on there to participate in our talks and our shows, is what I'm getting at. And yeah, so I mean, like, you know, where are you at? What would you say, like?
I also watch a lot on YouTube, and I'm on Twitter, as I've mentioned before. But I'm not too active on Twitter right now, or Steemit, but I have Steemit, and I have and I'm mostly on YouTube just watching stuff. So I actually just jumped on the live stream of this right now to check if anybody was chatting. So yeah, I could do that too if that's needed.
That'd be awesome, yeah, because I hate the idea of people feeling like they're being ignored, you know. But there's only so many things I can look at the same time. I don't like juggling too much, because all you'll hear me is going, and I'll be clicking a lot. So fuck that, you know. I can't do too much. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, so you probably saw, this is probably the time to bring it up, too, oh, yeah, you don't need those things, those brackets.
You just write it?
Yeah, just write it. Just little regular spaces in between. And
okay. Yeah, I'm playing around.
yeah, you'll get if it goes through part way, it's kind of a weird process, and it's a silly pain in the ass, but at the same time, it actually is a much more streamlined thing than going into your wallet and then, you know, digging out their name and writing the memo. You can write a memo with the brackets at the end after the SP amount.
Gotcha.
But yeah, and then like it's good that it still makes you authorized, so you can't like drunk tap the wrong number and send all your Steam to somebody and then have to try to recover it or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing it right now.
But I think it only does Steam. I don't think it does SPD. I think it just does Steam transfers right now, or at least as far as I know. But I could be wrong about that too. Yeah, this is not my bot. I think there's a lot more people that, like Quan over at Can Curate and stuff like that, know a lot about it. Hi, Dynamic Green TK, by the way. How's it going, bud? You know, appreciate you coming by. And yeah, I think it's cool. And
yeah, I got an error on Steam Connect. It says missing active authority and then your screen name. I don't know what the hell that means.
Oh, well, that's because you have it actually. You got to put your name first and then mine.
Okay. Oh, I got you.
Soundwaves Photon has all your Steam, and is he being oh, I don't know, man. MSP, I didn't know that they were separated. I didn't know that he wasn't with them anymore. Like, when I started with MSP, he had his show over there. I think so did Grim. I'm very confused. I was thinking that. I'm like, I hope he's not. I don't want anybody fighting over there. You know? I mean, I think you could flag him every time he plays Wicked Game. I think that's fair. I think everybody can agree that would be okay to do. But I don't know. Or you could just take a shot there if you, and either way you'll have a good time. But no, I got all this from them, and you know, speaking of social media though, like I really do. I mean, we have drama over on Steemit, and I don't talk about it. I don't. But oddly enough, I feel like I want to be friends with as many people as I can, and I don't want to be in soap opera kind of fights myself. You know, that's not what I'm all about. But doesn't seem to be the case for Joe Rogan. And speaking of like other social media spheres, man, I think that's why it came to mind. Because fuck YouTube right now. I don't know about everybody else, but I don't watch Joe Rogan. If I do, it's very rarely. And every other video in my feed has been him explaining why Alex Jones is wrong for the last 3 days. Some ridiculous thing. Ever since he did that Jack Dorsey interview. And I'm more upset that the algorithm... it almost supports Alex Jones' point that he's being buried while guys like him who are in some sort of clique or some sort of circle that we don't understand fully are being elevated. And I don't know, man. I mean, you know, I think Patient Zero is bringing it up. Alex Jones always takes it to a place that sucks. He always takes it to a place that sucks. You know, like he's like, huh?
Yeah. There's always a reptile involved.
Well, he's telling the fucking they're gonna be chewing on adrenal glands or something like that. He's connecting it to eating people. You know?
Yeah. Why
does he go there? Like he has something, I think, but he goes to another place with it. And he might be right. That's the weirdest part. But like, I feel like, you know, unless you're like lockstep with him and you see his reasoning, like, and you give him the full time of day, that it seems like he jumps from one place of reason to another place. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about with this fucking frog shit, dude? But it takes too long to fully understand the gears of his mind. But you know, him and Alex Jones have been fighting like sons of bitches ever since then, and it's getting kind of real out there. I don't know. What are you guys seeing about that?
Yeah. Joe's in a lot of weird stuff, but I mean, like I said before, like the whole thing is just. I mean, now they're talking about security fraud. That's like that's an actual story between him and Jack Dorsey, because like Jack Dorsey went on a podcast that he sponsors with over $300,000 a month, and then he promoted Bitcoin to try to get it to bounce because he's got Cash App, which is the number one, I guess, Bitcoin. I don't know, some kind of app that people use. I don't pretend to understand that. So they're talking about that, and you know, it's just anybody, a guy like me, has been listening to Joe Rogan since he started. He's active. You know, he's changed. His views have changed. And, you know, that's not a crime, your views changing. But, you know, he's put up barriers on certain things. And he's got into a lot of weird shit. Like, next week he's having on a Democratic candidate that's running for president. And they're running on a platform of universal basic income. Like, all right, so now you're just like a lefty socialist guy who's in bed with Twitter and Google. And you don't talk about wars anymore. And if you do, you have a CIA guy on to tell me why Trump's bad for getting out of Syria. You know, and he's been exposed. And like you said, the problem is Alex Jones can't just hammer the security fraud thing. If you really want to bring him down, you know, don't talk about. But Joe does talk about like a lot of that. He's kind of into that like living forever creepy shit where it's like, oh, you know, like he's into that. Like, and that is kind of in the same circles as those weird ass people that are into, you know, full-term abortions and selling body parts and shit. So Jones is going to go there because he's Jones. But if he just stuck to, hey, Joe, I caught you. You have no integrity. I'm just going to bang you on that. He would win out. But it's just not Jones's way.
I don't know, man. What do you think, Cryptic? Have you been paying much attention to this one? Because I don't know if you can avoid it. It's been kind of in my face, but what have you seen on this?
Yeah, I've been seeing similar stuff to you. I've been just seeing lots of videos about it in my YouTube feed and stuff like that, talking about it. I didn't look too deep into it, but it sounds like it's basically, what I would think it would be. You guys pretty much hit it on the head. To me, I was just thinking, Joe Rogan should just go back to being the host of Fear Factor when I used to watch it when I was like 12.
I was just saying in the chat, Fear Factor got
back
really
in
sick,
2004 or whatever. I used to watch that show all the time. And at this point, I would prefer him to be back to hosting that show rather than doing his podcast. I've never really sat through any of his podcasts. I've heard, I've heard a couple good like interviews he's done with some people I follow who are like anti-war and stuff. But I know he also is, leaning pretty heavily to the left, and he's said a lot of lefty things when he's talked to some libertarian types and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm not a fan of his, and I'm not a Alex Jones fan either. But like you guys already hit it on the head. Jones, even if Jones is right in this case, he's gonna make it into something just ridiculous probably, and it'll get lost. The truth of the statements will get lost, I think.
You got to say one thing about a man's career when all of his shows end with the sound of someone, gurgling horse semen is basically what I amount his career. Fear Factor and his podcast. When I listen to Jack Dorsey bullshitting, especially because that guy has that accent, like I mean, I have a terrible one. I shouldn't talk, but he didn't say any words in his responses. It was like a Valley Girl. It was weird. It wasn't like a grown man talks, though. It was very strange. And, it just might as well have been the sound of him and Joe gargling horse semen like they were on Fear Factor. But,
I just wish, if he just stuck to, like, his MMA and having his comedian friends on, like, that's fine. Those are funny. Like, because you can just put them on and they're mindless and you laugh. And he's really good at breaking down cage fighting. He's the best. But problem is, he got political because he was very interested in learning shit, and his audience went with him on this like journey of reading books and getting interested in all this weird shit, and then they just kept learning, and then he kind of got too big and got paid, and now he's like upset that people are like, dude, you're sold out. That's kind of what it is, and he will fall the same way anybody else, because that's the internet. He'll still be fine because he has everything else he makes money off. But his audience, he'll get – the thing is, like, as people say, like, he has a mindless audience. He really doesn't, because, like, people watch him and they either watch him because of his guests and, he had this certain sense of, curiosity. But if that goes away, we can go and find these people elsewhere. Why do we have to listen to him interview them? You know what I mean? That's the gift and the curse of the internet. Like, you can listen to the same guy have the same interview with 4 different interviewers in a week if they're trying to sell a book. Why are you going to put on Joe Rogan? So, like, the catch that you got with him was like, oh, he's like a dude who lifts weights, but he's also like in the shit. And that, now he's just hanging out with Jack Dorsey, and he's not even bringing up things that, he didn't even he brought up the Kathy Griffin thing, saying let's dox those kids. And then he asked Dorsey about it, and Dorsey was like, oh, no, whatever. And he didn't push him on it, like, at all. And then you find out he's getting paid, and you're like, all right, man. Then your whole, like, I want the Joe Rogan that destroyed Carlos Mencia's career because he was a joke thief. Like, that Joe Rogan was cool. He found the truth and just beat on it until somebody was destroyed. And now, ironically, that's happening to him. So.
You know what? It's funny too. His latest shows since this has blown up in his face. it really isn't just Alex Jones too. Like, the general public was like, "No, this is total bullshit. Like, we know better. Like, we know the news better than fucking the newscaster apparently." But he's got like a 90% downvote ratio on this stuff, and people are pissed. And, you know, his show in the last few days, from what I can tell, but I haven't even really been clicking, most of the titles are like, he defends himself on this, or he denies that, or he's not taking, you know, Cash App, or whatever, you know, whatever the fuck. Or he made like a 10-minute video, and his guest wasn't even talking, really. It was just some dude, I don't know, and he just had to listen to Joe go on and on saying that he doesn't need to be beholden to anybody. He's doing it for fun. It's like, that's fucking bullshit. You know, we're not beholden to anybody except the audience, but we don't have fucking corporate sponsors, and I'm not even going to lie about it. If, like, someone wanted to hand me $3 million tomorrow to do the Joe Rogan show because they need another bald dude, I'll do it. I mean, fuck. Again, dude, it couldn't be, like, I remember Joe Rogan and The Man Show, and I don't think a job can get worse than that. I don't even know how he has a career after that, but like, Jimmy Kimmel recovered well. So, yeah, dude, it's sort of sad. I think I think this is gonna kill itself. It's shooting himself in the foot, because if he keeps defending himself over and over again, he's going to leave something out, or stretch the truth, or obfuscate lies by omission.
He's doubling down. Like, he's not acknowledged that, like, dude, you're the whole truth seeker thing. Like, you can't then go and have on the universal basic income person. You know, you can't, you're literally,
can't agree with both of them.
People are just paying you now to just they're like just paying you for your exposure, and you're just accepting it. Like, that's what's happening. And which is fine. If somebody you don't like and you disagree with wants to give you millions of dollars to come on your show, then grill him. You know, don't just be a lapdog for him or her. Or, you know, he had a Washington Post person on. Let me see if I can find it. Washington Post journalist. She went on there, and she was trying to, like, she was like just pretty much towing the establishment CIA deep state line about, you know, Trump's ridiculous and Russian collusion and Tulsi Gabbard is bad and the Syria war is good. And he's just like nodding his head. And like, she got eviscerated online, and he doesn't even acknowledge, wow, these really hate her. Maybe I should look into why my audience hates these people. But, you know, he doesn't do that, which is what's going to kill him. You know, that's what's going to kill him, is he doesn't adjust. He doesn't bow, you know, he doesn't give in and say, you know, I'm actually an idiot here, and I should probably, which is the whole reason he's actually popular in the podcast world, is because he would go and not know something and then learn about it and then, like, evolve. And now he's stopped doing that, you know?
He would talk like a guy, too. This is what pisses me off.
Yeah,
right?
that's
he would, when he would have Eddie Bravo on. Now, these are two guys that could literally rip each other's heads off, but they're friends, and they talk like guys who are drinking and smoking weed, and they bust each other's balls, and they say you're full of shit, and you're retarded. Well, I'm not even going to say that. I won't say it for a lot of reasons, because I can't say it from my accent, but they call each other moronic or insufficient IQ individuals. In various ways, and they talk like guys, but they used to. Now he doesn't. Like, and this came up just before his bullshit with Jack Dorsey came out. I posted this. It was pointed out by another person who does deep dives to me, and once I understood what was going on, it's like, motherfucker had, you know, everyone in the comments too. The comment section for that one almost turned into a Joe Rogan sucks sort of pointing out his flaws. Because one of the only interviews I saw of this dude pushing his book, this Tom DeLonge guy, was on Joe Rogan. Dude had like 2 hours to bust his balls and to give him a hard time and to make him prove it. But no, it was softball crap. It was not about UFOs. It was about selling a fictional book. He didn't even like let us know that the book was fictional. Joe Rogan let him get away with letting people think that this was going to be like a leaked account, like a true life story of government conspiracies exposed, not a load of crap like the Da Vinci Code. And yeah, so even it's been a bad week for me and that dude's relationship. I mean, again, too, if the dude wants to go and be a stand-up, go be a fucking this is one of those things too where it could be like a case of like, why don't celebrities just shut the fuck up? You know, I'm not going to go out there and get a career going on my ability to tap dance and then start doing podcasts like this. You know what I mean? This is the thing I do. You know, like, so if he wants, you know what I mean? Like, what I'm saying is if he wants to be a stand-up comedian, that's what he should fucking do, you know? And he's great at it. He should just keep doing that. He could be like a George Carlin and point all this shit out.
Yeah.
With, you know, save up the material,
also, like,
make sure it's right.
But again, not to defend the guy, but his podcast is fine when he doesn't do these types of podcasts. Like you said, like the long one, I went back and watched it after you did your article, because I watched it once, and you know, but you could tell like it was forced, you know, like he didn't want to have that guy on. He took money to have that guy on. When he has his friends on, they're just talking about like fart jokes and like
in the MMA.
It's hilarious. Or
if
MMA.
He only talked about MMA.
You know what it is? Because when he has his friends on, they check him, you know? Like, you're being ridiculous. But when he has these guys on, these people that... And the problem is he thinks any expert he has on, in quotes, he just believes everything they have to say, you know? But then if one of his friends comes on and talks about an expert, he goes, well, I didn't read that book. I can't, you know, I'm not going to subscribe to that. It's like, all right, well, you just kind of pick and choose what you believe, you know? And it's not really consistent. But when he has this stupid shit going on, those are fun. But you know, now I guess now he doesn't like Steven Crowder. Like, you know, I don't know. He's too.
That was a perfect example of him. Oh, you don't like that I love pot? See, again, too, he went after Steven Crowder like that weird vegan went after us the other day. It's like, what? You don't like fucking you eating plants? What are you fucking gonna? It's like, no, you're not convincing anybody. Actually, I'm a pot advocate, so shut the fuck up. Because if you're just gonna scream at people about why they should like your opinion, then I don't think you should be the fucking spokesman.
Yeah, he tried to get. Yeah, he does some ganging up stuff. Like he never, you know, like he doesn't have on anybody that, you know, he has his views. It is what it is. But like, you know, his audience was very. To be honest, I'll be honest. His audience was, I think, more libertarian, you know, anti-government, blah, 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 than I think he ever was. But they just like that he was doing it. And now he's comfortable making money. And now he's going to have the people on he wants. And they're all, to my opinion, they're all fucking idiot socialists. Most of them. His friends are just, you know, the thing about stand-up comedians, and this is, you know, not George Carlin of the world or guys like that. But a lot of them
we don't have many options.
They never grow up, you know. They're still, you know, they don't grow up. You know, his friends come on and they're just talking about the girls they bang. None of them, you know, they're not together. They're
saying Artie Lang doesn't have his shit together.
Are not, you know, are not what a lot of people are focusing on. And you know, it's just like he has no problem with living in LA. You know, with the debauchery and all that kind of like. You know, you're just kind of supposed to outgrow that shit and go find a family and get some land, and that's what you're supposed to do. Like that guy Brian Redband, which is probably the guy that he had on when you had it on, the random guy. He's like 43 years old. He dresses like he's 12, and he just like complains about video games and like tech shit, and like he doesn't have, you know, it's like you're 45, dude. Like, you know, I don't know, stake your claim or something. I don't know. It's just a weird vibe that I think his audience is outgrowing now that there's more alternatives. You know, he was the only game in town for a while. So,
well, I honestly think that he should take my advice because I know what I'm talking about. His millions of views and massive audience and multi-million-dollar empire should take a quick second and listen to me and just fucking talk to comedians and guys from the MMA and boxers and shit. And I would love your show, Joe Rogan. Keep the other stuff that you don't really know anything about or fucking A, man. Maybe it is the cabal that's ordering him to do it, like, you must support us. But I don't know why he needs the empire. Maybe he should just fucking chill, you know? Wouldn't that be... I think the evidence is saying he's looking less and less happy. So, if
that's true. He does look less happy. He should probably just go hunting and shoot bow and arrows, and I'll watch those videos. If he wants to go murder, you know, deer in the woods on a 7-day hike, I'm into that shit. I'll go watch that. I don't need him talking about... You know, I don't know. I keep coming back to it, but the fucking universal basic income thing just makes me want to like bang my head against the wall because it automatically means that you're bringing coercion to it. So the whole concept is, you know, far into the way I even think about shit.
Well, fuck Joe Rogan. You know, I don't know. Maybe he just shaves his head too much. It's cutting too thin. But this is something I gotta say. It piqued my interest because Chicago sucks in general. I don't know why my links aren't opening up, even the GIFs I put in. I don't know if it opens up on your Discord, guys, but it seems like a straight up blue link on my end. But this is a story about a gun law bill, and this is the wave of the future, I think. So even if these get shot down, it'll keep happening until this is like part of our what we think is our constitutional rights. It's like, oh, of course you have the right to bear arms. Oh, unless you had a bad day and you got drunk and you did something stupid on a social media like Facebook or something. Oh, then you can't have a gun. You know, what if you were fighting with you know, somebody, who knows? Again, it probably won't even have to be your wife. It could be like somebody you've never met, like in another state. Like, you know, you called her a bad name or something. You're going to get like a domestic, sort of like in England when you like get into a fight with somebody online. You literally have police knocking on your door. They're kind of trying to get that here, it seems, but in a backdoor sort of way. They're claiming it's like the New York law that I do believe actually went through, but this one, I don't know if it's going to get shot down or not. Poor choice of words. But what my point is, it's, you know, it gives a local police office the right to comb through your social media, all of it, I guess. Like, the New York law is your entire browser history, so you guys flip a coin on which one's more invasive or which one violates the Fourth Amendment and the Second Amendment, you know, in more a spectacular fashion. But, wow, all is what I gotta say. This is a bad sign of things to come, man. Totally a bad sign. But, Chiappa, man, I mean, I've never asked you about gun control. I don't know. I mean, I hope the hell you ain't coming for my guns in my Bible, because you ain't getting it.
No,
But
just because I live in Jersey. No, just because I live in Jersey doesn't mean I'm against guns.
No, I was just kidding. I was sorry.
Yeah, but what's fun? But I mean, it's literally the most dystopian thing you could possibly. I don't know how anybody can be for. Okay, so the government gets to decide what social media views you have, and they decide, you know, and then they take your guns based off that. Like, that's okay. Well,
totally objective too. Yeah, there's no legit like he threatened somebody. I'm going to use a gun tomorrow to hurt you. Like that, I could actually almost understand. Like an imminent threat. Yeah, well, that's what they're basing this off of. They're basing it. All right, here's why they say they need to do this. Before I act like that guy, it is about the Nicholas Cruz shooting. He killed 17 people in Florida, which is some, 2,000 miles away from Chicago. For everybody who wants to know, it's quite a distance. But this kid went nuts, and he was posting images of guns, bullets, and a dead frog on Instagram. Apparently. I guess a guy who gunned down 12 at a bar wrote, I hope people call me insane. Which is, I'm not really sure is a declaration of insanity or not. I mean, to me it sounds a little unhinged to want to be considered insane regardless of whether you're insane or not. So I guess this is a whole circular thing here, but that is their explanation. They have seen people who have snapped and talked about it openly before they went and did something. But as a curator, just on a tiny little network that I actually I go through posts and upvote to try to hand out money. I've seen people post some weird fucking shit, like stuff that has nothing to do with our group or anything. They're just tagging everybody, like everybody they can to see. They're like writing weird like poetry about like doing crazy shit to them. I don't even get it. I don't know. So like on the blockchain, there's nothing you can do. But yeah, mental health is a big thing. I'll give them that. I see it, but I don't have a fucking clue what to make of it. I don't think a lot of, and again, I actually do have some experience, as far as being a guy with an asshole badge and the right to ruin your day, and I wouldn't think that I have the psychological expertise to evaluate any of this shit. To say, because again, if it was me as a cop going through this stuff, I'd be like, no one can get a motherfucking gun. You're all crazy. Because everyone is kind of nuts. I don't know if you noticed, but yeah. So what is said? And again, too, like this is the funny part. Just just to put things in perspective, you're asking the guys who go around who are paranoid about the general public killing them on a daily basis, like, that's what, you're a hero. You go out there and face the gunfire every day. So they're giving them the decision on whether or not everybody around them can have guns. So if they decide no one else but them can have guns, I'm pretty sure their lives would be in less danger in perhaps their mind. Fuck if I know. But that might be the line of, you see what I'm saying here? Like, we're giving the people who don't want to be shot on a daily basis for work the right to see who gets a gun. They're going to say no to many people, I imagine.
Well, they already do that. I mean, the fraternity, the police union, you can't get like a gun control law in, or a non-gun control law in, without their say so, because they want to make sure that they're one step ahead of the citizens. Like that's you can track that. I mean, but to me, the scariest thing is just the precedent of, we can take your gun away for social media, and then, like, that's anything, then go down the line. This guy posted something that is treasonous, we took his guns away, whatever. Not to say the cops, your local police officer, would do that, but that's just, they're just an extension. Down the line, you get a congressman who puts this bill up after a tragedy, and then all of a sudden, you have the wrong, you support the Russian you're anti-Russian collusion, and they take your guns away because you might be a red. I don't know. I don't trust these people.
Well, they're going to take my guns away because I have a Bible and an American flag, but then they'll take your guns away if you don't have a Bible and a flag. They'll take your guns away if, like I said, if you put the wrong Pepe meme up, you might be on the list. But I don't know, Cryptic, do you cling to your Bible and your gun like I do, Cryptic Cynic?
You guys covered most of what I would say already. It seems like all these deep blue areas, cities or states, are tripping over themselves and using all these shootings in really distant states to justify more gun control. And I think this social media stuff that we've seen in New York and now Chicago, it's kind of like a slippery slope, growing out of the red flag laws that other states, like the state I'm in, has recently passed. And those are allowing just about anybody who might know somebody to call the cops and say, hey, I think this person is a danger, so go take their guns away, and then the cops can just come take them based on that. And you'd have to go through a long process to get your guns back on the other end of those red flag laws. And a guy in Maryland already was shot by a cop after they came to take his guns over some flimsy red flag law type thing. So I'm totally against all the gun grabbers out there. And like you guys have already covered pretty much anything else.
Well, the last one that I really was interested in that was an actual vile gun crime was the Las Vegas shooting, and they ended that investigation saying, we don't have a fucking clue. Our miraculous FBI. Years and years, But I can tell you one thing real quick before we change subjects. One person I could definitely tell you who probably would have been better off with a firearm, concealed permit, whatever, but if they had their own handgun. There's this guy Smollett that I heard lives in Chicago. He might want to look into carrying a pistol, but
noose.
Yeah, now I'm being a troll. But I can think of one guy that could seriously not use this new Chicago firearm bill because his social media is all sorts of fucked up, and he might not get the firearm he needs to protect himself from roving Scandinavian MAGA supporters. I guess it happens. But if he had a firearm, he could have defended himself. That's what I'm saying. That's all I can say about that particular issue. It's a gun rights issue. That's what we really need to make that story about. Chicago gun rights, if you ask me, because it's the only way I'm willing to talk about it. Fuck that shit. I'd rather talk about Bezos' blast tabloid blackmail pecker pick. Oh, what a story that must be. I don't give a fuck about that. Like there is one thing about like a cultural thing. Netflix got away with paying $0 in taxes.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's not. And again, it's our tax structure. I'm sure they found it like, well, we made, we invested in all these terrible projects that went nowhere. It's like this. That's almost like a money laundering scheme at that point. It's like, they're diverting their taxes. Who the fuck knows? It's a big scheme though, and it always seems to be that way. But I don't know. What did you guys? There's a couple other stories before we wrap up. It was Tulsi Gabbard's. Did we ever get into that? And Cryptic Cynic, you said you had something, or did we already go over it?
Mine wasn't a real big deal. I could just I don't think we mentioned Tulsi Gabbard at all. So I'll let you guys.
Yeah, I just brought her up because I've been watching. I don't agree with her progressive policies at all, but I just thought it was interesting that like the reaction she's getting is a lot like Ron Paul got in 2008 when he started running, because they're going after her and she's a Russian agent and blah blah blah. So my question that I was gonna like wrestle with, maybe I even write about it, is let's say you're a libertarian or you're an anarchist or you don't vote, or you're one of those Ron Paul guys that like me that only decided to vote because it was about the war. Why not, register as a Democrat in your state and you vote for her, so at least the message of her anti-war thing gets out there. And then let's say miraculously she wins, you have Trump and her arguing over who could be more peace. So, but then you have to weigh the progressive crap that if she won, we're going to get... I have to kind of look in her views because that's what she feels on everything, to be honest. So I don't want to throw her down with the other crazy ones running with the wealth tax and the green.
Oh, she seems like a Democrat. Yeah, so, doesn't seem like a nutty socialist. She seems like a Democrat, which is freaky.
Yeah, but if you can get the conversation on war during the election to be against like actually ending stuff, I mean, it might be something. So it's a thought experiment more than anything else.
Well, I mean, I'd like to see the conversation be leading into somewhere where no war is the key. I feel bad for this person. I don't understand why she's such a leper to her own party. I don't. But I don't really know from the inside. I guess she represents some sort of threat for what they consider the next step for the party, maybe. Or she just isn't falling in line.
You're not allowed to. It's just. I mean, Dennis Kucinich in 2008, he had the same foreign policy as Ron Paul did, and he ran in 2008. He ran in the same election and he didn't have those. He didn't have this. He didn't get to run again. He didn't have popularity afterwards. They just pushed him aside because he actually meant what he said. But NBC and MSNBC are connection, and then it's they don't push against the war. So that's why she's being destroyed. But what's funny is they can't really go after her because she's a vet, like a legit vet with like 2 tours. So they can't be like, well, the troops want to stay there and fight for freedom. She's like, no, they really don't. I didn't want to. I thought it was interesting. They had an interview with her, and some lady actually tried to pull that, like, the troops in Syria, they went there to fight ISIS and they want to stay until the job is done. She's like, no, actually, I was there, like in Iraq, and I can tell you that's inaccurate. And they just have to sit there and take it,
Well, one thing I find interesting about this, I'm almost looking, if we can't end the wars, and this is what, I would hate to think it would be like the election cycle is about posturing, because it doesn't seem like Trump has control over the military like he should. Like they're passing constitution. It is weird. There's supposed to be a check and balance system. I don't want my president having unilateral control over the military, but with things the way they are, it's just getting confusing, and it seems like no one's in charge, which is scary in a way, because somebody's going to just start doing whatever the hell they want again. And maybe that's what Venezuela is all about. I put my postulation on that before, though. But, with what's going on with Russia, yes, we need to end the wars all over the place. If we can't simultaneously be starting new wars all over the planet and dividing our forces everywhere, and get into a race with Russia about ripping up our arms agreements and our missile agreements, and accusing them of breaking the treaties and stuff. And then we're gonna have another Cold War while we're fighting all these proxy wars. That's not good. That's like actually how we took down the USSR. So it's almost like they're using our strategy against us one generation later in real time. So they flipped the bill in a weird literal sense, because if you look at, like, there's a movies about it too. Like, you don't have to take my word for it. If you want to be entertained by political history, watch Charlie Wilson's War. It's got Tom Hanks and that dude that OD'd. Anyway. The
Philip
blonde
Seymour
guy.
Hoffman.
Yes, good actor, great role. He was awesome in it, as a matter of fact.
Yeah,
but
I like that movie.
it's a great movie, and it explores how we bogged down the Soviet Union in Afghanistan by arming the locals and just having them fight this endless war there. So what did we do right after we? It's amazing that I'm gonna get frustrated talking about it, because it's almost like the people in charge have no idea what they're doing and haven't read a history book. Fucking weird. You know? Man. But, yeah, so we need to find somebody on the left who's virulent anti-war. I would love to see the conversation have to be that. And, you know, I'm thinking, too, as far as it goes, the mirror effect, though. What would happen is, say in 2020... somebody runs against Trump who says, I'm going to end all these wars. That's his platform. His second term might be bogged down by the other branches of the government because they don't want him fulfilling his campaign promises. So it's evident to me that nobody actually gave a shit about the wall until 5 minutes ago, when Trump said that's part of his, campaign platform and is going to be his re-election bid. I think that it would be a bad thing. Well, in a perfect world, it would be a good thing if we could run that campaign. But if Trump won on an anti-war platform, we'd start a war with Canada or something. You know what I mean? It would be fucking absurd.
They're doing that to him now. Like, that's what like you said, that's what's evident about the State of the Union. Like, he already can't be the, but I don't even care about, like, I mean, I care, of course I care about ending them. I just want you got to get the people on. Like, it's all about us, you got to change what people think and care about. And if you got, and people care about what CNN shows them on TV, and if you turn on the debate and both people are yelling about how the wars need to end, people go, yeah, I guess they need to end. And then when they don't end, they might actually get mad because they might actually do it. I don't know.
That's a good call. Yeah, I like optimism for sure.
I need some. A little bit.
I need it too, man. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the wars are selling the way they were. I really don't. Like, they're getting away with little. I mean, I cover this shit. They're getting away with a lot, but, like, you're not getting the rah. It's not happening. I mean, it's happening in the media, but I just don't. It's not happening, which is good. And I just think that's another step in the right direction. We don't want to backpedal, I just can't see the Democrats running on, like, we're going to be tough on Russia, and that's going to, like, win. I don't know. I guess.
Oh, fucking A, yeah. Well, that's what I don't want. I don't want to, because, again, I would rather we have less proxy wars going on right now with Russia. We have, like, 3 off the top of my head that I can think of. I would like none. And if we could not do that, I would like to not have a Cold War missile compile. But, if I had a choice between us doing another proxy war in South America or piling up warheads that we're never going to launch, I'll pick the warheads, I guess, because we could already blow the world up. It's a waste of tax money.
We're both making the same warheads. And, we got the mutual insured destruction thing going. It's money and it's corruption and, like, the military-industrial complex. But
yeah, keep them assholes busy. Then less people will be on fire.
Yeah.
Less villages burned to the ground, Yep. Yeah, and again, they could just sit there and then we could have, like you said, political conversations on why we're wasting so much tax money on useless missiles rather than who are we going to burn down next.
Yep.
Totally different political conversation around America. Imagine.
Yeah.
That would be. Yeah. I guess that's how it was for our parents. Lucky them.
Now, I could see the way that the Democrats fight her on this stuff is, like, they make it what they'll do is they'll try to make it racist for us not to go over there and help these people. That's how they're gonna get her. You know, would you not care about the insert country people? You know, that's what they're gonna do. You know, they're gonna make this Venezuela. It's funny, you know, Trump hates, like, supposedly hates, you know, Latinos, and, you know, he hates immigrants and he hates people coming here, but he's prepared to start a war for them in Venezuela, where they're all gonna have to leave and come here because he started a war. Like,
yeah,
okay,
then
so
we would have a
not,
refugee crisis
you know?
that was actually, no matter what you could say, it'd be 100%. Yeah, we start blowing up all their houses. We probably have to. Then there would be a war zone. They would get asylum. That would be a genuine asylum claim. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if we're the ones dropping the bombs. So yeah, we'd probably have to give them asylum. Yeah. But again, too, it would be. This is how you don't fight a war: is you bomb a country and then let all the people, like, of military age into yours at the same time. That's like the not how to win, but it's how to be a nice guy while you're fighting a war. Ah, God damn it! You see, this is why, like, people get embolisms when they think too much about. It's like, this is going to make my brain pop. Fucking ass. But yeah. See, I don't know. Oh God. Another one though. I really, I hope things work out in South America. I do not want to be down there. You know? And I wish that was what I was saying too. Like, I wish we had heard about that in the State of the Union. I wish we had heard about what's going on with this wall bullshit and the government shutdown. You know, that's happening in like a week and a half or some nonsense. Where we're going to be like where we were. TSA employees are pooping in people's suitcases. It's like, yay. You know? I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. It'll keep me busy. I can appreciate that. But I don't know. I think we've been going now. Let me see. About an hour and 15 minutes. It's not a bad time for, like I was saying, the Decentralized News Hour. You know, I think the longest one was pushing 3. But,
yeah, I mean, there hasn't been much since Tuesday, really.
Yeah. Yeah, we do the 2-hour show Tuesday. We can do some housekeeping real quick before we go. If you guys had anything you want to throw in before I wrap up, I'd say, you know, now would be a good time to say whatever, sign off, do what you want to do. Say hello, goodbye, I don't know.
No, I'm good. I mean, I'm starting to post a little bit more on Steam, and I'll start getting into more videos. You know, I got a little more free time. But other than that, I'm usually on Tuesdays. The Tuesday show's the best for me. So, you know, if there's any wars that are going to happen on your TV screen, the odds are that I'll at least bring them up before that happens. So that's kind of where my focus is at. So, that's really it for me.
Yeah, it's I don't really have anything to add. Just thanks for having me on. Good to talk to you guys again.
I threw my Steam It blog post link there in the chat, and if you guys want to throw anything else in there to let people find you, that'd be awesome too. Or, you know, Patient Zero or Dynamic Green TK. You know, if you got links too, I'm all about it. I appreciate you guys coming by to hang out with us. Keep the chat going. That's really a huge part of it. And I hope this tip bot's cool. Like I said, I think it's going to be something that's everywhere further down the road. So I'm glad you know, we're the ones that can help get the word out there and make Discord and Steam sort of all one community. And it really is what it is. And again, too, if you guys are watching on YouTube or Twitch or any of the other places, Resteam.io, or wherever I'm broadcasting, you know, I do appreciate the audience out there. It's not just an encoding tool, I can promise you. Like, I'm going to start participating more. And I think the key now, I am kind of thinking it's a time to start, you know, working on that. I kind of let it sit and do its own thing for quite some time now. But if you guys want to, if anybody, too, wants to get in there, even if you don't want to make videos, if you do want to actively participate in that community, I feel like it's almost like I hate to make the reference, but it's like going into the Matrix and trying to unplug people. Just if we're out there letting them know, like, you know, there is alternative media that isn't Gab, that isn't going to be like the next neo-Nazi site. It's going to be, you know, like whatever the media is telling you about alt media. Their competition, really. So they're going to try to paint all their competition as really bad. So what the best part is if you know, and again, it's just, I guess the best way to do it is to go out and show people in real life, like real time, like, no, the mainstream media is lying to you, and no, we're not evil people. We're actually probably way nicer than anyone you're gonna find on the bigger sites. I can almost guarantee you're not gonna get trolled as much in our little niche of the cyber world here. It's a really nice place, actually. So I guess that's the idea, is if anybody wants to do that, I suppose that's going to be my mission of the week. But I think I don't know if it's this Saturday or next Saturday that Truth Force is starting this broadcast through MSP. But he's going to be over there, and I'm going to be doing a show here on Tuesday, and we're going to have a new guy joining the team called Making Stuff. I think he's got like a 6-year degree in electrical engineering, and he's been building off-the-grid solar mobile houses and amazing things. And he's got a good take on the news. So it's not going to all be about solar panels, but it's I wrote that post. I'm serious when I say, like, I do believe that when it's like, when you have your own currency, when you have your own, that's what I'm trying to let people know without being like a spam salesman on those places, because like I said, when it's a stream of 10,000 comments, you got like 30 characters to try to get a point across. So how do you say, hey, find me on Steam It? Nobody knows what the hell you're talking about. So it's a long conversation, and I suppose it's a person-to-person experience at this point, but we'll get it done, and it'll be worth it, I think. Said get more people involved, and yeah, just let them know what's up. But so I would say check us out on @Information More. If you want to type that in on Steam It, we have the Decentralized News channel. We have our curation efforts. We've got all sorts of curators. If you're writing posts, if you want to tag it with Information War, all one word, we will do our best to get to your post and do some upvotes, get our curation trail behind you. If it's news, it's well written, get a big upvote. We're not like trying to dissect the social paradigm necessarily. We're more trying to figure out what's going on in the world. And, so yeah, I hope everybody, we see y'all soon. So let me see if I got it straight. So yeah, so Tuesday, I think, if you guys, like I said too, when I'm making these schedules, if you're on the media team, you're on the media team. I'm not like trying to be a gatekeeper, tell anybody when they want to come on air. Nothing like that. I'm just saying these are the shows I can broadcast, and these are the times I can be on to do it. So I hope to see as many people hanging out as possible. Anytime, kind of. I love to keep this schedule that we've going. Like, I appreciate Cryptic Cynic, you showing up every week. What is it? Has it been a month already? Or has it been how many weeks now, bud? Have we been doing this on Thursday?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's been like a month. Yeah.
That's pretty awesome, man. And yeah, man, like I said too, anytime you want to get into we'll get you whatever you need to make it worth your while, because I appreciate you coming on. So so Tuesday at 8 o'clock on this network, we're going to be doing a show. And I don't know. I would just check with Truth Force to see if he's going to be on air this Saturday. But you'll see me like 6 times over. I'll be on Can of Curate tomorrow, playing metal and blasting it out. And so this has been the Decentralized News Hour. I appreciate everybody coming by one more time. Thank you again. And have a good one, guys.